Hello, I'm Neil McGettigan, president of the New Jersey Objectivist Party. Last time I spoke on behalf of the Objectivist Party, it was regarding the proposals by Congress to socialize medicine, and how this is not only economically impractical, but immoral. Tonight I'm going to speak on another topic, affirmative action, the policy currently in place by governmental law, which requires places of business and universities to judge applicants not solely in their abilities, knowledge, and experience, but to factor in their ethnic origin and gender as well. Now, proponents of this doctrine claim its need to make up for centuries of injustice caused by racism and sexism. You would have to be historically illiterate not to acknowledge that this has happened, but you have to be evasive to reason to deny that affirmative action is not racist. Affirmative action is a governmental policy that forces businesses and schools to factor in race in the hiring and admissions process. It is reverse racism, thus it is racism nonetheless. Ayn Rand, the creator of the philosophy of objectivism, which this political party is based on, wrote about the topic of racism in her book, The Virtue of Selfishness, in the chapter entitled Racism. And I quote from that. Racism is the lowest, most crudely primitive form of collectivism. It is the notion of ascribing moral, social, or political significance to a man's genetic lineage, the notion that a man's intellectual and characteristical traits are produced and transmitted by his internal body chemistry, which means in practice that a man is to be judged not by his own character and actions, but by the characters and actions of his collective ancestors. Like every form of determinism, racism invalidates the one specific attribute which distinguishes man from all other living species, his rational faculty. Racism negates two aspects of a man's life, reason and choice, or mind and morality, replacing them with chemical predestination. Affirmative action has actually led to the discrimination of women. In March 2006, Jennifer Britz, the Dean of Admissions at Keene College, wrote an article in the New York Times entitled, "To All the Girls I've Rejected." In this article, Ms. Britz tells how currently 60% of all college students in the United States are female. And because universities are aiming for diversity, they often reject qualified female candidates for less qualified male ones to keep the XY chromosome ratio more balanced. This setback in women's rights and advancement in our society is not due to our bias against their intellectual capacities, but rather is because of our current unquestioned social axiom that we have to carry the weak, in this case, the academically irresponsible, because universities have prioritized diversity over real academic achievement. Last semester I was speaking to a fellow student who was of Indian nationality, and he spoke of how his cousin is having difficulty getting into medical school because the school wants more diversity, and apparently the Indian minority in this country is far overrepresented there. A survey by the University of Chicago Medical Center found that doctors are 26 times more likely to be Hindu than the overall U.S. population, and apparently medical schools find this to be a problem. Affirmative action in the long run will be self-destructive to society. Racial tensions and animosity will not disappear if we continue to quota and classify people by their ancestry, and give out rewards and privileges to certain groups because of this. The Objectivist Party's solution to the issue of racism is the free market. In order for a business to succeed, they will have to discriminate by ability. Employers and colleges will not judge the genetic code or gender of the applicant, but rather attempt to judge their capacity and ability to perform properly in the classroom or place of work. Thus, fairness in our society would not be created by racial quotas, but by simply hiring the most qualified candidates. Any business foolish enough to think that women or people of a specific racial origin are naturally unqualified would find themselves out of business and without government bailout in the long run. Thank you.